These past 2 Sundays, we've been talking about generous living. We will conclude this Sunday by turning in our estimated giving for 2014. Living generously is one of the most important aspects of our lives following Jesus. I must tell you, it's both fearful and exhilarating at the same time. It's fearful as we trust God with something so personal and so important in our lives. And it's also exhilarating as we experience God working in our lives in this area. As we begin to trust God and test God to see if God won't open up the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that we don't even have enough room to contain. This past Sunday, the congregation unanimously approved the 2014 budget. But what we're talking about is more than just meeting a budget. We're talking about lives being changed because of our generosity. Just this week alone, lives have been touched. 2 people gave their lives to Christ for the first time this past Sunday. People who were sick and in the hospital were visited and prayed for. 50 teenagers were here to hear about God's love. Families who things are a little tight for them right now were helped through our fish market. 42 students met and were tutored by tutors through Whiz Kids. 180 kids are getting ready for our upward basketball and cheerleading. People experienced God's presence in worship. They connected with each other through life groups and were encouraged as they studied God's Word. This and so much more happens each week because of your generosity. Generosity not only touches the lives of others, but it radically changes our own lives personally. As we begin to buck the trend of a society that says that it's all about me, as we follow the footsteps of Jesus, as we live our lives generously, we see God working in our life in a very tangible way. This is what I want you to do. I want you to start by praying and saying, God, what are you calling me to do? For some of us, God will be calling us to begin tithing, to give 10% to God. For others of us, it'll be to take steps toward tithing. For all of us, it'll be to be obedient to what God calls us to do. Beyond that, I want you to make sure that you bring your estimated card with you on Sunday. If you don't have one, there'll be one here available. Another way of doing this is you can go online on our website and you can find on the page where it says registration and sign-ups. And you can go there and you can actually register online. There's also several resources on the website where you can find out more about our budget for 2014 and also an FAQ about how we do these things. I'd also encourage you to consider doing automated giving, which you can do online or you can call the church office and we can help set that up for you. But for all of us, what we need to do is say, God, what are you calling us to do? How are you calling us to live our lives in a generous way? How can we reflect your generosity ourselves? I'm excited about what God is going to do in our lives and through our church. Thank you so much for being a part of what God is doing to touch so many people's lives, to impact lives now, and to change them for eternity. I'll see you Sunday.